going live. Yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning if you are just joining. Let's see if we can get Instagram going. Sometimes Instagram works, sometimes it doesn't work. It looks as if it's working there, which is good. So we're going to focus today on a little bit more through shoulder and hips, mobilizing and also strengthening a little bit. So coming up to your standing position, making sure you've got plenty of space around you, side to side, forwards and back, and taking your feet shoulder width apart. We're just going to start as usual with our knocking. Remember, when we're doing this, we're moving from the hips and the waist, and the spine is just following that, as are the arms. So we don't have to do any work with the arms. You're using the ground as well. So obviously the hips and the waist can't move unless you're using that ground. So you're just putting that little bit of pressure into the ground as well. Breathing easy in and out through the nose. Keeping tall through the spine. So imagine you've got a string just lightly lifting you from the crown of the head. That keeps that spine tall. And then you get that articulation or rotation on every single vertebra, all the way up the spine, from the lower back, all the way through mid back and upper back to the neck. And then just gradually slowing it down into water waves. Feel the difference. So it's like a slow motion movie. Still keep tall through the spine, still keep lifting from the crown. A little bit of softness in the hips, in the knees, in the ankles. Connected to the ground through the feet. And then take a rest. Stand for a moment. And then bringing the feet about hip width, either take a short step forwards or back, wherever you've got space. So what we're doing is, I'm just going to show you from the side. It's not quite a lunge position. You're about in that position there, so you can bend that back knee a little bit. That front knee is balanced over the ankle, so we're not pushing that front knee too far forwards. It's just a nice bit of a split stance there. And then whichever hip is back, or whichever leg is back, that's the hand that you push towards the sky, and then you reach through and push the other hand towards the side. So we get that nice elongation all the way down that chain there. It should feel good. Again, any of these movements, if you feel pain, if anything grabs or pulls, you just stop. Hold that position, but just breathe into it for a little while. So just breathe into here, into the side of the rib cage, to the side of the waist. And then step forwards, balance, and repeat to the other side. So either stepping forwards or back, whichever way you did before. It's not quite a deep lunge, so it's just a little bit of give in that knee, but it gives you that opportunity to to lengthen out that whole side of the body. Side that the hip and the leg is back, you reach up to the sky first, and then we have that little push through. Hold the position but breathe into it. Let that head not hang but just go with it rather than the head being here. So the head just goes with the spine. Breathing into that side of the body, opening up that whole side of the rib cage into the armpit there. Breathing, 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 breathing lightly through the nose, not big breaths. We don't need to take big breaths. And then step forwards. Give yourself a moment. And then we'll go other side again. Balance, so really stable, supported by the floor. Lengthen first, reach to the sky first, and then over. Let's hold it a little bit. Breathe into that side. Breathe, 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 breathe into the side. Should feel nice down the hip, into the leg, into the ball of the foot, or that back foot. Really focus on that whole length of the chain here. Step up. Forgotten how many we've done to each side now. Let's go back to this side. Balance. I think this is where we started. Lengthen first. Reach over. Balancing, 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 balancing. Breathing, breathing, not holding. Good. And then slowly back up. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Let the breath settle, and then we'll go into shoulder width apart on the feet. Spinal cord breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. It's a bit like cat-cow, but standing. So you're just tilting the pelvis forwards and backwards. Tilting, spilling out the front of the pelvis as you open up the chest. Tucking the pelvis underneath as you curl up into that little ball. Following your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Get that movement smooth. Here we're not holding any positions, so the minute you come back, you return. So keep this movement smooth, rhythmical. If we're holding a position, we're deliberately holding a position. If we're moving through a position, there's no start or stop. So it's just that little bit of a lull before you change direction. Working through that whole movement. Let's do 2 more. Nice, and then take a rest, standing tall. Have a little shake out if you need a little bit of a shake out. We're going to do some hip circles. So I want you to, I'll mirror you, stand on your right leg. So nice and supported on your right leg. And then you're just going to lift the left heel a little bit off the ground, just so you've got some space. And you're going to lift this left hip. It's difficult to show actually on here. I'll move to the side. You're going to lift it forwards, down, back. So you're just rotating this hip over. Let me go from the side so you can see from the side as well. So there's my finger on the hip. I'm hitching this hip up a little bit, balancing on the other leg, and then I'm just bringing it forwards, down, back, forwards, down, back. So if I really exaggerate the movement, you're doing like a big circle with that hip, but make it nice and small. So you really feel that right hip working, and also that left hip lifting over. So it's, imagine it if you were walking, so you're literally stepping and bringing that hip through, and then obviously we'll do it on the other side. So just stay on that right side, do some little hip circles, and again, if you've got any pain, you stop. See if you can keep that spine as centered as possible. See if you can avoid any sort of like tightness in the arms. If you need to balance, remember the good old Qigong, 2 tigers either side of you. So you're just resting your hands on 2 tiger heads. So you don't want to grip them, you don't want to push them down, but it just gives you that little bit of balance. And then take a rest. That will need a nice good shake out. And then we'll go on the other side. So stabilize, balance, 2 tigers, and then you're just going to circle, and you might find one side is much easier than the other side, or maybe not, maybe it feels pretty even. So it's like tiny, tiny movements. Breathing easy. And then have a little bit of a shake out again. Give yourself a moment, and we'll repeat that both sides. So stabilize first, balance. Grab your 2 tigers if you want to, balance your hands on the 2 tigers. See if you can keep strong through the spine, and then that little bit of circle. So you've got a bit of a combination about this hip really working to help lift the other hip up and forwards and back and round, but also you've got that little bit of engagement in the hip that you're lifting over. And once you get confidence in the balance, you can really sort of like make it really tiny movements. So when we first start, you almost like just hold everything together. It's just like, oh, I just need to tighten everything and hope for the best. Once you get into the movement, see where you do need to be strong, but then also where you can just soften a little bit. And again, if you start to feel this leg burning, which it will do, then just take a rest. Remember, this is not pushing beyond what feels comfortable. It can still be, it's be challenging, but it's not overreaching. Let's repeat on the opposite side if you haven't repeated sides. So balance, get your tigers, breathing easy, smooth, small movements. Whoop, nearly fell over. If you wobble, fine. And then come back and repeat. And then take a break. Let's give the legs a good shake out. I think after that we need a bit of a leg swing. So the leg swing, balance on one side, swing across, and then repeat on the other side. Balance first, stabilize first, swing across, balance, stabilize. Really just let that leg swing, the free leg, empty leg. Remember, the trick with balance is always to remember to balance upwards as well. So if you lift and lengthen through the crown, it helps keep you tall, keep that upper body balanced. And then shake out, shake out, shake out. Stand for a moment, let your breath settle. Let's do some work on the shoulders and the rib cage. So you're going to bring your fingers together like this, and you're going to pop them into that little space below the collarbone. Going to keep the shoulders down, but we're going to raise the elbows up. So you're going to do these big circles. And let the spine work with that as well. So you're going to get that lengthening of the upper back there. Spine working. Smooth movement. You can breathe with the movement, so you can breathe in as you expand, breathe out as you soften, contract. Let's change direction if you haven't already done so. So if you were going forwards, which is, or backwards, you go forwards. If you're going forwards, you go backwards first. Tune into the spine. Really feel how the spine works. And then we'll go kayaking. So one forwards, one back. And this is nice because it gets that rotation through the spine as well. And a little thing you can add to this, which is quite nice, is bring your focus to the hips. So as I'm coming forwards with this side, go hip and elbow. So just get that little bit of movement through the hips. Keep the knees soft. So you might get that little bit of a bend in the knee. But think of the hip leading. And that's quite nice. It gives you that little bit more connection through the whole body. From the floor all the way through. And then go in the other direction. So hip goes back, shoulder and elbow follow. You have to have that little bit of softness. You have to have that bend in the knee so you get that rotation through the ankle, through the knee. Good, and take a rest. Always feels good, that one. Okay, and that whole spiral chain, we were just talking about this on the Zoom beforehand. Remember, we're not just moving forwards and backwards. The body constantly rotates, constantly rotates. Every step you take, there's a rotation through the whole body. And if we tighten any particular area, it blocks there. You get that tension, you get that tightness, you get that overuse of that certain area. So remember just this fluidity. Think of the fluidity, think of the flow when we're working on the Qigong flow movements. Another one which is going to help, actually let's do the tiger first. How are we time-wise? That's good, loads of time. Let's do the tiger first. So remember, with the tiger, we go shoulder width apart. Remember to use this, it's a fun little position, it's like tiger claws, but see what that feels like. The minute you engage the fingers, how that engages the whole of the back. So you're getting some nice stability and strength through the back in that position. and then we just lower down. And again, if you've got the tiger claws there, we're not tilting down towards the ground. Keep that idea of just that chest lifted. And it's not about how low you can go, it's about how low you can go, staying in a position where you could have a look over there, you could have a look over there. So I'm not down here on the ground. So I'm not looking down, I'm just gently lifting that chest, that sternum up a little bit. And then I'm pushing through the ground and coming up. And then when I'm coming from the ground, arms are soft, 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 coming up. So get that difference between nice and strong there with the back tiger claws, and then just using the ground, strength through the legs to come up. Just breathing easy in and out through the nose, slow movements. Let's do 2 more. And then take a rest. And because we're doing that nice and slow and steady, there's a lot of what we call time under tension. So you're working every single muscle in the body there. You should feel quite warm when you've done that. Let's go a little bit wider. Let's just play around with the stance for this one. So go a little bit wider. And same thing now, because we've got our legs in a different position, a little bit wider. It's not going to be the same depth with this necessarily, or you might go a little bit deeper. If you've gone a little bit wider, you might go a little bit deeper, but remember just to keep that point where you're lifting the chest. So you could get to that position, you could look over there, you could look over there. If you're really good, you could have a little look behind you. Again, slowly up. There's 2 ways of intensifying a movement. One is to speed it up, and the other is to slow it down. And the great thing about slowing any movement down is you're in control all of the time, and you're creating those neurological connections. So if you were to do the same movement fast, if you'd make it more of a power movement, then your body would know what to do. I'm beginning to feel my hips working nicely. Let's do 2 more. And then take a rest. Walking your feet back in together and giving yourself a little bit of a shake. Let's now go about shoulder width apart again and take one foot slightly in front of the other. So not too far, so I've most probably got my heel in line with the opposite toe there. And we're going to do the same thing with the tiger, so we're still coming down the center line, but you've just got that slight change in the position of your feet. So down the center line, and what you might notice is that back heel just slightly raises off the ground. That's absolutely fine. So as you come down, that back heel can just raise off the ground a little bit. Do one more. And then take a rest, bring the feet back together in line there. Let the breath settle, recover in between each movement. And then we'll do the same, stepping out the other side. So again, about your heel is most probably in line with the toe of the opposite foot. So the weight is very subtly shifted onto that front foot, and that back heel can raise. You've still got the ball of that back foot in connection, so there's still engagement and connection through the ball of the back foot. There's still weight going through that back leg. It just will most probably naturally just raise off the ground. Keep that chest facing forwards, that sternum facing forwards. Same thing that you could change any position here, you could stop at any moment. And quite a few squats today, so may feel this over the next couple of days. Let's do 2 more. And take a rest. And let's give our bodies now a good shake. So using the legs, and if you want to tap the heels into the ground, tapping the heels into the ground, using the arms, freeing up the shoulders, freeing up the back of the head. Bit of cleansing and clearing with the breath, if that feels good. Breathing in. Feeling very warm now, and then slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down. Opening up the shoulders. Letting the breath settle. Just bringing the fingers or the thumbs linking together, resting on your lower abdomen, and then just bringing your feet close together, and then just closing your eyes just for the last 30 seconds or so. And then taking a refreshing, satisfying breath in through the nose. Nice full breath. Opening your eyes. Stepping your feet out, giving yourself a gentle brush down. And Friday is World Sleep Day. So the Source app, which was originally the Breath Source app, now the Source app, which I'm a part of, is doing a whole day on Friday with different coaches, different breath masters, giving some fantastic sessions. I'm going to be posting some stuff out on social media today as well, so look out for that. The app is the Source. It's all free on Friday. It starts early in the morning. A lot of the timing is based on US time, so just make sure if you see the ads for that, it's all Eastern time in the US, so just translate that for UK if you're in the UK. but there's plenty of sessions. It's quite nice to go on and see other coaches teaching different styles of breath work. So do please join in for that on Friday on the Source app. And otherwise, I will see you next Monday for more breath work. Thanks very much for joining. Have a good rest of the week. Take care. Keep tigering. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.